Ladies and gentlemen, there is one belief that separates the dreamers from the doers, the average from the unstoppable, the ones who survive from the ones who soar. It's the belief in yourself. You can have the best plan, the greatest talent, the most supportive circle, but if you don't believe in yourself, you will always live life beneath your potential. The world is full of gifted people trapped in invisible cages built from self-doubt. Full of men and women who talk big, but move small. Why? Because somewhere along the way, they stopped believing they were enough. They let fear write their script. They let past failures become future predictions. But let me tell you something today. No goal, no vision, no dream is possible unless it first takes root in the fertile soil of belief. Belief is not a luxury. It's a requirement. You can't borrow it. You can't fake it. You have to build it brick by brick, word by word, action by action. And belief doesn't mean you never struggle. It means you keep moving even while you struggle. It's what pushes you when nobody is clapping, what fuels you when the path gets dark, and what holds you together when everything around you is falling apart. That kind of belief makes people dangerous to doubt. It makes you unshakable in the face of delay, unstoppable in the face of difficulty, and undefeatable in the face of rejection. And let's be clear, success is not some distant prize reserved for the lucky and the chosen. It's the reward for those who dare to believe in themselves long enough, hard enough, consistently enough to do what others won't. So today, I want to break down what it really takes to conquer your goals. I want to show you that belief is not just a feeling. It's a strategy. It's a decision. And it's the bridge between where you are and where you're destined to be. It all starts with the inner game. So let's go there. You can't build a skyscraper on a shaky foundation, and you can't build a life of success on a shaky belief in yourself. Every great achievement, every powerful breakthrough, every world-changing idea starts with someone who decided to believe in themselves when no one else did. That belief didn't come from perfection. It came from persistence. It came from a decision made in silence long before the applause that said, "I am worthy. I am capable. I am going all in." And if you don't make that decision, if you don't build that foundation, every goal you set will crumble the moment pressure shows up. Self-belief is not ego. It's not arrogance. It's the quiet, unshakable knowing that you were born for a reason, and you have what it takes to carry that reason to completion. It's not about having all the answers. It's about having the courage to start. Most people wait until they feel ready. They wait until they have permission. They wait until the fear goes away. But champions move anyway. They take the first step scared. They speak up with a shaky voice. They walk into rooms where they don't feel qualified and choose to act like they belong until their mind catches up. That's what belief does. It leads and feelings follow. You have to build belief like a muscle. You don't wake up one day and just have it. You develop it. Every time you take action despite fear, you build belief. Every time you honor your word to yourself, you build belief. Every time you do what you said you would do, even when it's hard, even when no one's watching, even when you're tired, you build belief. And the stronger your belief gets, the less permission you need from others, because you stop needing validation from people who don't have vision. You stop waiting for cheerleaders and start moving like you're already crowned. That's how goals get conquered. Not by wishing, but by working while believing. You see, the problem is not that people don't have goals. It's that they don't believe they can reach them. They want the result, but deep down they don't believe they deserve it. And that belief, or lack of it, bleeds into their habits, their decisions, their energy. If you believe you're not good enough, you won't pursue that opportunity. If you believe you're always going to fail, you'll sabotage your own progress. But if you believe you can, even when it's not pretty, even when it's not perfect, you'll find a way. You'll get resourceful. You'll try again. You'll push through the resistance that stops everyone else. That's what separates the successful from the stuck. Now understand this: self-belief is not immune to struggle. It's forged through struggle. You don't become confident by avoiding pain. You become confident by surviving it, by walking through fire and realizing it didn't burn you, it built you. Every setback becomes a story. Every rejection becomes redirection. Every delay becomes preparation. And when you believe in yourself through all of that, you stop seeing problems as reasons to quit and start seeing them as proof that you're still in the fight. The presence of struggle doesn't mean you're losing. It means you're growing. And the more you grow, the more your goals start shifting from impossible to inevitable. So how do you strengthen that foundation of belief? You feed it. You protect it. You train it. You don't let just anybody speak into your life. You don't hang around people who only see your flaws. You don't entertain conversations that shrink you. You speak to yourself with power. You write down your vision every day. You surround yourself with stories of people who made it through worse. Because belief is contagious. So if you're going to catch something, catch fire. Catch purpose. Catch vision. Let their courage activate yours. You also have to stop apologizing for wanting more. Too many people water down their dreams so they can fit into someone else's comfort zone. But let me tell you something. Small thinking will never build a big life. And if you keep dimming your light to make others feel comfortable, you'll never see how bright you can shine. You have to give yourself permission to want it. To want the success. To want the breakthrough. To want the life you know deep down is possible. That doesn't make you selfish. That makes you aware of your assignment. You weren't put here to barely make it. You weren't put here to shrink. You were put here to rise, to lead, to create. And it all starts with the belief that you can. Every time you affirm yourself, every time you show up, every time you make progress, you're pouring concrete into your foundation. You're making it harder for doubt to shake you. You're making it harder for fear to move you. You're becoming the kind of person who can carry the weight of success without breaking under it. And that's the goal. Because you don't just want to reach your goals. You want to be strong enough to sustain them. And that strength comes from what you believe about you, not what others believe about you. Belief is not a feeling, it's a responsibility. You owe it to your future. You owe it to the people depending on you. You owe it to the younger version of yourself who prayed for the very things you're now working toward. You owe it to the world. Because when you believe in yourself, you give others permission to believe in themselves too. You become the evidence that it's possible. The proof that hard work and heart work pays off. And that kind of impact, that kind of legacy, it starts right now with what you decide to believe. Every goal in life, no matter how massive, no matter how intimidating, becomes reachable the moment belief stops living in your mind and starts moving through your actions. Belief without action is just a wish. It's a dream parked on the side of the road, going nowhere. But belief backed by consistent, deliberate action, that's when goals begin to fall, doors begin to open, and transformation begins to take shape. You see, too many people believe in themselves in theory. They believe in their dreams in conversation. They speak confidence, but live in hesitation. And nothing kills progress faster than a person who talks success but walks in circles. You don't move forward by thinking powerful thoughts. You move forward by taking powerful steps. You can have the greatest mindset in the world, but until you translate that belief into motion, you're still stuck. Real belief is kinetic. It moves. It doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It doesn't wait for the fear to die down. It doesn't need a guarantee. It just acts. It builds the business with no investors. It trains for the marathon with no coach. It studies for the degree with no applause. And it keeps going day after day when motivation runs out and momentum disappears. That's the secret right there, consistency. Because belief that isn't applied daily is eventually forgotten. You either practice your faith or you practice your fear, but you can't do both. When you set a goal, the first step is believing you can reach it. But that belief becomes real when it drives your behavior. You stop saying, "One day I will," and start saying, "Today I must." You stop waiting for clarity, and you start working through the confusion. Every action, no matter how small, becomes a vote in favor of your future. And those votes accumulate. They start to shift your self-image. You stop seeing yourself as someone who wishes and start seeing yourself as someone who executes. That shift changes everything. Because once you believe you're an executor, you show up differently. You show up early. You show up prepared. You show up when others cancel. And you show up for yourself even when the world doesn't. Now listen. Consistent action doesn't mean non-stop hustle with no rest. It doesn't mean you burn yourself into the ground. It means you stay committed even when the emotions fade. Discipline takes over where motivation dies. Anybody can grind when they're inspired. But winners show up when they're exhausted, when they're uncertain, when they feel alone. Because they've decided that the goal matters more than the mood. That's what real belief does. It rewires your priorities. You don't act based on feelings anymore. You act based on values, on vision, on the deep knowing that if you just keep going, something has to break. Most people fail not because their goals are impossible, but because their belief never made it past day one. They start strong and give up early. They confuse effort with endurance. But if you want to conquer anything big, you have to be willing to outlast the resistance. And that's where consistent action becomes your weapon. You keep showing up, and eventually the doubt starts to back down. The obstacles start to shrink. The noise gets quieter. Because your consistency proves you're not just interested, you're invested. Let's be real, every big goal is going to test you. It's going to throw setbacks, delays, rejections, and failures in your path. That's not a sign to stop. It's a sign that you're getting closer. That's life checking if your belief is real or just temporary hype. And the way you prove it's real is not by shouting louder. It's by staying consistent. Doing the small, unglamorous, unrecognized things day after day. Waking up early. Practicing your craft. Saying no to distractions. Tracking your progress. Adjusting your strategy. Not just once, not just when it's exciting, but relentlessly. That's how goals fall. Not with one big leap, but with 1,000 committed steps. And here's something most people miss. Consistent action feeds belief. The more you do, the more you believe you can. It's a cycle. When you start, you don't need massive action. You need reliable action. You don't have to make 5 years of progress in a week. You just need to win the day. You just need to do what you promised yourself. And when you do that enough, you build confidence through evidence. That's the key. Confidence is built on evidence. Not hype, not empty affirmations, but evidence that says, I said I would, and I did. That becomes a track record. And that track record becomes your power. Some people keep starting over because they never build that record. They stop and start, never giving their belief a chance to mature. But if you just stay with it, stay in the process, stay in the pain, stay in the push, you'd start to see what's possible. Your belief would evolve from wishful thinking to unstoppable conviction. Because every rep you take, every mile you run, every page you write, every rejection you outlast, it all counts. It's all adding up. Even when it doesn't look like it. Even when nobody sees it. Especially when nobody sees it. That's the grind that separates dreamers from finishers. And don't think for a second that your results have to be perfect to keep going. Too many people quit because they don't see instant results. But belief doesn't need proof before it moves. It creates the proof through movement. The scale might not move today. The bank account might not grow this week. The audience might not show up yet. But if you stay in it, if you keep showing up with consistency, the breakthrough will come. Because the universe rewards persistence. It rewards those who refuse to back down. It rewards those who keep planting even when there's no harvest in sight. Because it knows you're not in this for applause. You're in this for purpose. Here's the truth: you don't have to be the best. You just have to be the most committed. Talent is common. Consistency is rare. Everyone wants to win. Few are willing to keep showing up when it gets boring, when it gets frustrating, when it gets hard. But if that's you, if you decide today that your belief is worth backing with relentless action, you become unstoppable, because success doesn't come to those who believe once. It comes to those who believe daily, hourly, moment by moment, and prove it with their steps. So whatever your goal is, don't just visualize it. Don't just write it on your vision board. Build it with your hands. Prove it with your effort. Show it with your calendar. Don't just believe you'll succeed. Live like it. Move like it. Execute like it. Because belief by itself is a spark, but consistent action is what turns it into a fire. And that fire, when fed every single day, becomes an inferno that burns through every excuse, every barrier, every limit. That's how success is conquered.